Welcome everyone. We're here at the Rooftop 93 bar. We're gonna get you ready for a great event. We're looking forward to the do's and don'ts of real estate, of home buying. We're hoping you keep the love and the comments coming. All right.
So hi, I'm Esperanza, and this is Oscar. We are both realtors at Antigua Group, and today we're here to discuss the do's and don'ts of home buying. So Oscar and I, we got together and we kind of talked about what information we can share today with our viewers. Hopefully a lot of you guys are millennials or just hardworking people who are
ready to buy.
Who are ready to buy. What information can we provide to make it easier for you guys to understand the process? And basically that is the purpose of today's Facebook Live, and we hope that the information that we share, it's helpful and that you get something from it. Any questions that you have, please feel free to ask, and we will try to answer as much as we can. And if we don't get to it, please DM Oscar and I, and we will be happy to discuss any information or anything that you need.
Our Instagram is Oscar, OSCAR _Rigamonti, RIGAMONTY. You can catch us on our Facebook, which is Oscar Rigamonti Realtor.
And I am on Facebook, Espi Estrella the Realtor. My Instagram doesn't have much of a real estate presence, so I'll say just go to my Facebook page or just check Oscar out. We work as a team. So yeah. So let's get started.
We're gonna get started in a bit of our do's and don'ts. We're gonna get started in a bit of our do's and don'ts. But before we do, we want to thank, like I said earlier, we want to thank Rooftop 93. We want to thank the source for giving us this chance to helping new home buyers, people who are interested in looking to purchase a home, whether it's a home, co-op, condo, source of land, something that real estate related that you're thinking about buying. We're here to help you with. If you're ever thinking about investing, the Bronx is what's happening right now. The Bronx, New York City is the best place to buy in, and we'll get to that. You can DM us and we'll get a little further into what we can help you purchase, locating an area in the Bronx, identifying what it is that real estate related that you'll be looking to do. There's big buildings over here in the Bronx as well. The skyline of Manhattan is gorgeous, but you haven't seen the Bronx yet.
All right, so let's get started. So if you're looking to buy a house now or in the very near future, the most important thing that you must do is save for your down payment. And basically the down payment is the money that you're going to put up front to purchase your home. And I know it's one of the biggest hurdles for a lot of people to save for their down payment, but there are a lot of programs that can be utilized where, for example, as an FHA loan, where you can put as little as 2.5 down in addition to closing costs.
In the scheme of things, if you're looking to purchase a home for $200,000, let's say for example, you can buy a home with the closing costs and down payment of $10,000. That might seem a little to a lot of people, which is what we're trying to show you today.
Yeah, so you can, it's more of just thinking of what the big and the ultimate sacrifice is. Like, I know for a lot of people, saving, it's a very big hurdle.
It's the biggest hurdle. Especially
like when the weather is nice, we want to go out to eat, we want to go really just socialize. If we have kids, take them out to the park, and a lot of our daily activities and
cost money.
So there are various programs that are geared for first-time home buyers that are looking to put very little down and to purchase their first home. And if you have the money to put the 20% down, that's even better, because the more that you put down, the less your monthly mortgage will be.
Absolutely. one thing that we want to touch is sacrifices. What sacrifices are you willing to make to save for the down payment? A lot of times it's stop buying your favorite product, Nike, Jordan, things like that. If you really look at it, if you would save for 3 years, just buy one pair of Jordans, and I hate to talk about brands, but I used to wear my Jordans as well. But if you would save one time a month, just one pair a month, saving on Jordans, you can own a home in 3.5 years, 4 years.
So he's very familiar with the expense in his youth of buying Jordans. So that's just an example of what what you can cost, kind of like eliminate to save. Absolutely. To save on putting the down payment for your home, or just for your home in general. It's going to be such a big reward to have a big investment in real estate, and or if you're looking to purchase for you and your family as well.
Well, step 2 is getting pre-approved. We go back and forth as Bronze and I. Step 2 should be hiring a realtor. I say get pre-approved, but we want you to know and feel comfortable with the amount that a bank would loan you. So we always say step 2 is get pre-approved. You can get pre-approved by going into your favorite bank or a loan broker, loan officer, and bringing, they're going to request some documents, some personal documents, such as your tax returns for the last 2 years, your pay stubs, your savings accounts. They're going to run your credit score, your credit history. They want to make sure that you can make the monthly payments. Yeah, so they're going to look
at a lot of your finances to see what amount would you be qualified for to purchase your home, and they want to make sure that they lend you the money, and so that you can purchase your home, but also be able to afford it according to your income, your debt to income ratio. Nowadays having credit is just very, very, very important. So it's basically you sit down with either a bank and a lending officer, and they will evaluate your finances as a whole and look at your credit, your file taxes, and they will give you a comfortable amount, and we would hope that you're being given the best rate and to purchase your home.
Speaking about comfort, affordability is crucial when you're going for a pre-approval. Once you get the pre-approval letter, which is a letter from your favorite bank or mortgage broker, it also identifies how much monthly you will have to dedicate for the purchase of a home. For example, if $2,000 or $3,000 is too much, if you think, then you want to scale that pre-approval down a bit and look for a property that meets your overall monthly budget.
So if you've been pre-approved for $500,000, that doesn't mean like, hey, go and spend $500,000 on a home. Like, look at what your daily expenses are and be really realistic about the money that you are, you're going to take from this pre-approval amount to buy your home. Make sure it's an amount that it's going to make it easy for you to make your monthly payments on a monthly basis.
Our favorite step, which is step number 3, is don't do it yourself, but hire a real estate agent you can trust. Trust in a real estate industry is one of the most unspoken things that we have to bring out to you, because trusting a realtor is crucial. We act as a team. When you call us as a real estate agent, hey, I need your help buying a home, there's certain qualities that an agent can bring to you that would allow for you, the buyer, to make the transition as smooth as possible when purchasing a home. So we have some steps inside of our steps of purchasing of our do's and don'ts. Excuse me.
So to just piggyback on what Oscar is saying is like to look for a home, to be out there on weekends when you have time, it could be a little bit overwhelming. Hiring a realtor, we have easy access to what's on the market for sale right now.
You can identify properties.
Right, and we know the process of getting it done. So if you want a successful closing, you want to buy a house and get the best deal, work with a realtor. We're here to be the in-between man between you and woman. How can I leave myself out? How can I leave myself out? So the man and woman to represent you. So we're basically the in-between person between you as the buyer and the seller. So our goal is to represent your ultimate needs in this purchase, to get you the best deal possible, and to make those phone calls. Once people have asked us, how do you
know if you're hiring an agent
right.
you can trust? We open the doors for a lot of buyers, in a sense. What we do as a realtor is we identify possible problems or challenges, and we help you overcome the hurdles. We also streamline from searching to closing on your home. Excuse me. Interview your agent is the best way I tell buyers what to do when they're thinking about hiring a realtor. Come into the office or have the agent meet you at your home. Get comfortable with your agent. Ask them questions, any questions that you have in mind about the process, about what would make your life easier when going out. These last 2, 3, 4 months with an agent are going to be, you're going to see your agent, your agent's going to know you better than you know yourself at times, because we identify the houses that we know best fits what you're looking to do.
So those are conversations that when you're looking for an agent that you will have. You tell them, listen, this is what my budget, this is what I'm looking to spend, and these are the must-haves that I am looking for in my purchase. So because we have easy access to what's currently on the market, we will do basically the homework for you. We'll look at homes that meet your criteria, and ultimately we're going to make sure that whatever your goal is, we're advocating for that, and
absolutely.
We're sort of like making sure that that's the success at the end, because you're taking your hard-earned money to put into this big purchase.
Once in a lifetime
for you personally, or to if you're buying it for an investment, it's still your hard-earned money. We want to make sure that you have someone who's going to represent you well, and who is going to do the homework and just give you the home.
Absolutely.
Not waste your time showing you homes that are not what you're looking for.
So now that we've identified the benefits of working with a realtor, another benefit that we almost forgot, which is I think a crucial part, is a real estate agent or a realtor. They have connections with the industry. Where if at times like in New York City, you need an attorney to close on a home, to purchase a home. That might not be the case for other states, but in New York City, that is, you can't buy a home without an attorney. Thank you. We have, a contact list of inspectors, and what an inspector does is he identifies potential problems within the house. Plumbing, as an example, electric, whether or not the property is move-in ready, or there's certain things that need to get fixed before you can feel comfortable with your moving into your home. And that's really important when you place an offer on a home, that it is an additional expense, but you want to make sure that the home that you're buying, it's that you're given a thorough report of what's wrong with it. That also gives you leverage to kind of like negotiate, like, hey, we offer this amount for a home, but we're gonna have to spend this amount of money on fixing pipes or this and that. So you have a little bit more leverage to negotiate. So an inspector is a really I would say, if you're purchasing a home, to really seek the services to contractors are another another contact that a real estate agent can have. If you're buying a home that does need work, we can identify a number of contractors that can come in and do the work for you for as little as possible, or do the work the right way. So now that you've saved for your pre-approval, save for your down payment, you've gotten your pre-approval, and you're ready to go shopping for homes with your trusted realtor, The next step is searching the neighborhood, so that way you can find out what are your must-haves in the neighborhood, as well as the must-haves for the home, in the sense that how many bedrooms do I need? Does it have to be close to driving to work every day? You know, you're going to be living in that home for possibly the next 7 to, you know, hopefully longer, throughout your entire life. You want to be able to feel comfortable to make sure I can go to work in, you know, whatever amount of time it is that you need to get to work. Sometimes 30 minutes, sometimes 40 minutes, whatever the case is. You want to be able to, if you have children, you want to be able to find a local park. You want to be able to find, you know, if it's babysitting, how far is it from my childcare do I need to be? You want to add anything to the searching your homes?
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on, you know, the preference of that person. If you don't drive, you want to be near public transportation. Like really research the neighborhood. It's a very residential, far from the train. Or it's a little bit more urban, where you're very close to the train. A little bit more to the city life, where you can just hop on and off the train, and or for some people having a parking space now in New York, it's like it's really hard to find parking. I lived in a co-op in a neighborhood for 5 years. That parking was a nightmare, and you know, we loved the neighborhood. But we were kind of like, you know, we're over coming home and looking for parking for over an hour, or getting tickets. I was at the courthouse fighting tickets all the time, but I mean, you know, but parking, it's a challenge now in New York City. So I know for people
that might not be
really,
the case in other
really
states,
important.
but it's tough in New York.
Yeah.
So let's recap. Let's recap. So saving for the down payment and closing costs is step 1.
Yeah. And remember, you could do it. You could save for the down payment. Just sit down and think of the things that you excessively spend money on, that you as a person or as a family feel that you can cut back on.
It's making a sacrifice.
Oscar has a really unique example of a buyer that he had. It's a lady with a family of 4.
A client of mine one time, you know, she was looking for a home. She was looking for a home for a couple times, for a couple years, excuse me. And she told me, hey, Oscar, you know, I asked her, you know, how is it that you save for the down payment? How is it that, you know, you got to be able to put this huge amount? She actually saved for a number of years. And she said, hey, Oscar, well, listen, we're a family of 4, me, my husband, and my 2 children. So every day I went to shopping, grocery shopping, or, you know, clothing shopping. I used coupons. I used coupons to purchase my property, and all of the difference that I saved from the purchase to the amount that I saved, I took that money and I put it into a bank account. And over the years, it started accruing, it started raising, started getting higher, to where I felt comfortable with the amount that I was ready, say, to buy. That's when she contacted her trusted realtor, and we then started looking for property. We started looking for properties. And which we found there's something lovely, you know, where her kids can play in the backyard. You know, she has a parking spot, so she didn't have to fight over spots.
So I found that story very interesting, because I also, I mean, everyone wants to save money, and they also want to cut costs when they're purchasing things. It's great to use coupons, but I'm a horrible coupon user. Like I'll keep it in my house to save money, like, oh, I'm gonna do a stack of coupons and I'm gonna save on this and this and that, and then when I'm out buying things, I'm like, oh, where are my coupons? So I thought this was really great that this, you know, she committed to the little saving amount that you get at the end of your receipt, just taking that and putting that extra money in the bank account, which I think it's a great way to save.
Ask yourself, you know, what sacrifice I can make that would help me buy. If buying a home is something that you want to do in the now or in the near future, what sacrifices are you willing to make in order to do that? So before we get on to the next step, we want to recap a bit. Okay, shall we recap?
Yeah. So remember, down payment. So we were just talking about that and the ways to save. Step 2.
Step 2 is getting a pre-approval. Step 3 is our favorite.
Yes.
Hire an agent that you can trust.
And always be with this person face to face to see what the working relationship is going to be like. Do you have a great connection? Also find out what the ways of communication is. For some people, they love communicating through text. Other people, they love a phone call. So just make sure everything is communicated with this person. That's going to help, that's going to help you with the purchase of your home.
Yeah, because the agent, from the first time that you make the initial contact all the way to closing, as well as, in the near future, you're going to be in constant communication with this agent. You're going to identify whether or not this agent is actually in it for you or in it for himself or herself.
And there are like a lot of times I've helped out a few families. I come from a social service background, and I've been able to assist families purchase their home, and it's almost kind of like you almost become family with the clients that you're helping, because you're kind of like, you're so invested in making sure that their needs are met, that the needs of the families are met, that you're just kind of like, at the end of the day, they're like, hey, come to my closing, come to my my housewarming party, come to my baby shower. So it's just, it will be amazing if you can connect with a realtor that can that you can build a relationship on.
So our next step is, after you've researched the property and you're ready and you've identified a property that you're ready to put the offer on,
and you identified your must-haves for this purchase and the neighborhood that you want to move into.
Let's decide. Let's decide on what you want to do moving forward, whether it is making an offer or whether it is to look at other properties. See, there's a lot of times when home buyers, they tell their agent, hey, I want to see 7 properties, 10 properties. When we start viewing properties, I tell my buyers, every time you leave a house, decide if that property is for you or not. Because there are a lot of times in this industry we get a little hesitant because it's a big purchase. It's a major purchase that you're going to do, most probably sometimes once in a lifetime kind of purchase. So you start getting a little nervous. You start thinking, is this the right property for me, or are there others that are better? So I say decide. Make a decision on that property there. Does it meet what your needs? Does it meet whether or not if you can go from work to home in an amount of time that's comfortable for you?
Right. So just to tag along to what Oscar is saying, like if your realtor showed you a property and you're in love with it, you already see yourself living there, like, don't make an offer.
Make the decision.
In the process, if you want to view other homes,
yes, you're going to consult with your agent every step of the way. We're not looking to sell you anything. We're looking to sell you what benefits you, for you and your family. The next step is what is the next step? Sometimes I get lost in my train of thought. Just
kind of like give a little bit more information to the home buyers. We get a lot of phone calls of people who have been renters for years.
Yes.
And we always ask, like, oh, how much you're paying for rent and this and that, and the rent right now in New York City is just going up and up and up, and it's becoming very hard for people to just to pay rent. So I'm kind of like, if you're paying an X amount of money for rent, like, can you go sit with a lender and see if
owning yours
is an option?
Yes.
Where you would you would pay the same amount of money that you're paying for rent.
There's a great website that we have that I like to recommend to my buyers. Is Money Under 30, where there's a calculator, there's a financial calculator there that's rent versus owning, where it'll show you the initial down payment that you put, and in a 10-year span, if it benefits you to just own a property or to continue renting. And I'm telling you, 100% of the time, you're gonna be landing on the owning yours aspect as.
Yeah. So which is why it's important for you to always keep your credit up to par and your debt to income ratio to be as low as possible, so that when you meet with your lending officer, you get a good amount that you can borrow and take it from there.
Absolutely. So we're at the point that you're ready to make your best offer when you're consulting with your realtor, with your trusted realtor. And what the benefits of consulting your agent is, it allows you to get the property for as little as possible, with as least amount of hassle as possible, because we have the data comparables. We know what's selling in the area. We know how much, we have an idea of what the housing in the area is going for. Also, not only that, is we have an idea of what the banks are willing to loan for the property that you're interested in buying. So after you've made your offer, let's say congratulations, your offer has been accepted, you're on to the next step. The next step is one of the most overlooked steps, but I believe is one of the most underrated steps. It's, do not make any major purchases, any credit inquiries, anything that's going to stop you from closing. And what we mean closing is signing for your home, getting the keys. Don't go to T-Mobile and open up another phone line.
Don't buy a car.
Don't buy a car. I know you have the house identified. Do not buy the furniture. Okay, you have to wait until the keys are in hand before you can start making any major purchases.
And also, just keep your job. Like I know some things that happen, they're unfortunate, but after the money has decided, the bank has decided to lend you this money, they're going to call you to confirm that that you're still employed, you're going to be able to afford this home, and
they check with your job until the day of. So
they check everything, and also, to make sure that you don't fail at keeping up with your mortgage after you
continue paying your credit cards, continue paying everything financial that's going to hinder you from buying. So let's just touch bases. So now you have saved for your down payment, you have your pre-approval at hand, you have your trusted realtor, you're out searching for homes, you've identified a home, you made the offer. We're at the closing table now. My favorite part of the process. It's a big day. It's a big day for you. Have your hand ready, because you're going to sign a lot of papers over. And once they give you the keys at hand, that's when you can celebrate. That's when you can take some pictures with your favorite agent, post it on Instagram. Hashtag own yours.
So owning a property is definitely, whether it's an investment or just a personal purchase, it's a very big deal. It just means that you've gone through the hurdle of saving. You worked hard to keep good credit, and you're ready to move in. You're ready to start a new life, a new lifestyle.
We got a question from the audience. How long does it take to close?
How long does it take to close? It usually depends on the bank that you choose to go with, because there's certain documents, like we stated earlier. It's going to be your W-2s, your tax returns, your pay stubs, but it can take anywhere on average, from 1 month to 3, so I would say about 3 months in total to close on your home.
Yeah, there's after you put an offer on a home, you speak with the attorneys, contracts have to be drawn. If there are things specifically that you want in your contract, the sellers have to review that. And then after things have been finalized with the contracts, you do an appraiser to make sure that the home that you're purchasing appraises to the price that it's being sold for. So that is why it may take that long to close.
So you're at the closing table. Like I said, you're celebrating, you're ready to go. Usually your trusted realtor will bring you a nice warm closing gift to congratulate you on the purchase. Sometimes it can be the home of your dreams. Sometimes it could be a home that just meets your needs and your family needs. Does it make sense, like we said, big backyard, front porch. But we're celebrating. We're at the closing table. We're at the finish line.
Yay! You owned your home!
You owned your home, you owned yours. Right now we're going to take some questions. Some more questions that we have.
Got another one. What is the average down payment?
The average down payment, let's say, I'm going to just throw some numbers out. Let's say if you're purchasing a home for $200,000. Your average down payment can be from $10,000 to about $40,000. $10,000 being if you're taking advantage of the FHA loan, which we touched upon earlier, which is 3.5% down plus 1.5% for closing costs. So you're averaging around 5% total for the first time, for a first-time homeowner to purchase a home. Are there any others? Any good ones going out there?
Do you recommend your first purchase be a single family or a multifamily?
Well, in New York City, I say go for the multifamily. You know, there are other areas, you know, in Florida, so to speak, that just comes to my mind. Atlanta, you know, there's usually a lot of single families, but I'm more of the investment side. I might like the help, the additional help from a tenant to pay for my monthly mortgage. You know, so just for an example, if your mortgage is about, you know, $2,000, maybe I could rent the top unit in the multifamily and get $1,000 for rent, and that would help me with my monthly payments.
Yep.
We have any others coming?
Yeah. Someone's asking, rent to intention to own. Is that a good idea?
Rent with the intent to own. I personally don't like the idea. I'd rather save for the down payment and own my property after, you know, own my property outright. When you are renting to own, you sometimes might have to go back to the owner and negotiate a price, or you might have to, you know, renting. There are other financial benefits to owning a home. You know, of course, I would advise you to meet with your tax preparer or your accountant, so that way they can give you an outline of what expenses they can write off. You know, when it comes to, you know, upkeep of the property, maintenance of the property, if you have to renovate the property of some sort. So I say stay away from rent to own and go strictly to buying. Do we have any others out there? Any good ones?
How do taxes play a role in financing a home?
Taxes play a huge role in owning a home, because at the end of the year, sometimes you will get some, like I said, you must consult your tax advisor. This is me talking as a realtor, but I know that there are benefits of owning a home when it comes tax time. Uncle Sam likes it when you own a home. They give you more money back, and I'm just going to keep it at that.
What should someone do if they have FICO credit issues? Should they consult a credit correcting agency?
Actually, if you want to, we have somebody in the audience that you want to talk about it or no?
I have no problem doing so.
We have no problem. Let's get you in here. We'll get you in the middle.
Appreciate
If
it.
you can introduce yourself.
Yes.
You want to be sit right here? We'll get you quick right here.
This is Justin, everyone.
What's going on, guys? My name is Justin Smith. Do you have any particular questions about your credit that maybe I can help you guys with?
Just in the scheme of things.
All right. So in respects to credit, credit is pretty much the definition is your capacity to pay back your debts on time. No but, ands, or periods. That's it. So the banks, the underwriters want to see that you have the capability of paying back, no issues. I'm actually a credit consultant, so I help individuals repair their credit rating. One of the biggest issues that I have with a lot of clients is that they'll have a small debt. It might be a co-payment or a cell phone bill that might just be $50, and they'll say, well, it's just $50, I can just pay it off. But mind you, it is in collections momentarily. So just think about this for a second. You want a mortgage that's $1,500, right? You're gonna have to pay that $1,500 back for a 30-year term, right? So think about that. If you missed a payment for $50, the bank looks at that and goes, well, if you missed a $50 payment, how are you gonna pay me back $1,500 for 30 years? So that small co-payment or cell phone bill is extremely important. So for you to say, I just have this small item on my credit history and it doesn't mean much, it does mean a lot, especially to the banks.
Yeah.
Hopefully that helps answer any questions for you guys about your credit.
It's there, so that's why I said, like, before you close, the banks or the lending company that you have choose to go with, they're really checking to make sure that things are good to go.
So it is very important to definitely take a look at your credit rating. You yourself pulling your credit will definitely not negatively affect you. There will not be any hard inquiries. You have the ability to pull your credit reports as many times as you want. Now, if you go to a bank and attempt to get a pre-approval, that will negatively affect your credit rating. But it is good to see where you land in respects to your credit, so you can see how much home you could afford. And they pretty much touched on that already. But your credit is extremely important when you're looking for a home.
We got a question. Is a FICO score different from a credit score?
So you have 3 FICO scores. There are 3 different credit bureaus: Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. So FICO score just pretty much means the FICO, your score. So you have 3 of them in total. So 3 different credit bureaus, 3 different credit scores. They're all equally important. A lot of individuals tend to just try to get TransUnion to be the highest score as possible, and they totally forget about the others. What you have to understand is what the banks are going to do when it is time to get approved for a mortgage or an auto loan or a credit card. They have the ability to pull any one of those 3 credit bureaus, right? So if hypothetically your TransUnion score is really, really strong, or your credit score is really, really strong and really healthy, but your other credit bureaus or credit scores are really low, that will definitely negatively affect you. Another important thing is a lot of individuals tend to worry about their credit score. Your credit score is not going to get you approved for credit. What's going to get you approved for credit is your credit profile. So making sure that you have the correct credit history, that's what's going to make the banks feel comfortable to lend you money.
Yes.
Simple.
Justin, you want to
Yes.
Instagram and
Yes.
contact?
So if you are interested in my services, you can find me on Instagram, which is Troy Royale. So that's TROYROYALE. Troy Royale. You can follow me. I have tons of great information about home buying. I have tons of information about stock trading, and also credit repair. So thank you guys for having me.
Leave the home buying to us. And we'll
Yes. Once your credit is up to par, once you have that down deposit, once you understand what your DTI is, very, very, very important.
Debt to income ratio,
Yes.
DTI.
Speak to these guys and women, and they definitely will point you in the right direction. Thank you guys.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You have any other questions out there?
Yeah, we got another one. Do you need an attorney to buy a home?
Well, it depends on the state. Some states require an attorney, other states do not. Florida, in the case, I keep touching back to Florida, but Florida, you don't need an attorney to close. In New York City, absolutely. They don't let you buy anything without having an attorney looking over the contract.
Is it rude to change your realtor if you feel things aren't working out?
Absolutely not.
It's not. That's why we were stressing on the fact of meeting with the realtor face to face. See how the communication flows. Make sure that they have your best interest at heart. Once you tell this person, hey, this is what I'm looking for, this is my situation, just see how things flow later on. So ultimately, you should be working with someone that's kind of working on the same goal as you, as the buyer. So this in-between person is basically just your support system in getting to a successous closing.
He's your chauffeur driving you to your home. Pretty much, we want to best look at it. I mean, at the end of the day, we're a team. We bounce back ideas for buyer and realtor, because we want to get you. Our ultimate goal is to get you in a house that's either your dream house or a house that meets most, if not all, of your needs. When you are looking to interview a realtor, I always say, speak with 3 realtors. See which one gives you the best vibe. See which one has your goals in mind, and choose them. Take them out, go out with them, to the appointments. And if you feel that there is a disconnect, communicate. Communication is key when you're working with the realtor.
Yeah. But we're here, you know us, we're both local realtors. We specialize in the Bronx, so we service all of New York City. So hit us up.
Yeah. We are local realtors. We sell New York City, but we specialize in the boogie down Bronx, which is the birthplace of hip hop. To bring it back to the source. We've seen the likes of rappers such as Big Pun, Grace New York City. Remy Ma, Fat Joe. I mean, we can go on and on with the amount of talent. There's newcomers like Axel Leon coming on board. If you haven't seen him, Fred the Godson. We have Chris Berbers, who's another big guy that I like to listen to.
And the list goes on.
The list goes on.
Any other questions?
Any other questions?
There's been a revival, right, in the Bronx now?
There has been a revival in the Bronx. We've seen, the Bronx, in the scheme of things, it's a borough of New York City, one of the 5 boroughs of New York City. So most of the time, the Manhattan has been getting most of the love. Then that's been spread out to Brooklyn and Queens. So now that a lot of homeowners are being priced out of these areas, they're coming and finally looking at the northernmost borough in the Bronx. I always joke around that the Bronx is looking down at the other boroughs, but that's another story. We'll get to that another time, I guess. But there's been a revival. We had last year alone in 2016, we had over $3 billion of investments coming into the Bronx. We have the Mont Haven area, which is being fully renovated, fully revised. That's the best way to see. There's a lot of money being paid into City Island. Orchard Beach is getting a facelift, so to speak. There are also a lot of other hidden areas of the Bronx that you would not imagine is New York City.
Yeah. They're also building a huge ice skating ring in the Kingsbridge Armory, which is completely going to change the neighborhood. So there's a lot of people are investing in the Bronx, and you should too.
I would be remiss if I do not shout out my alma mater, Lehman College. Yeah. It's a cultural place. Thank you. It's a cultural and educational place. Where we had nothing but successful people come out, graduated from Lehman.
I'm a Lehman graduate myself too.
So am I. We had bold presidents graduated from Lehman College. Shout out to Ruben Diaz Jr. We had, there's the list goes on. We had people who worked in the White House, shouts, and just in general. There are tons and tons of talent coming out of the Bronx that you wouldn't expect because of the stigma of the 70s that the Bronx was. But we have since revised. We're reformed. We're like the new kids on the block.
We're on fire.
Ready to go. We're on fire.
We got one last question. Someone's asking, New York offers programs for first-time home buyers. Are they reliable?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's banks, actually. There's a lot of banks that offer programs for first-time home buyers. Take advantage of them. If you could get your hands on a grant, once again, you have to communicate the information. I don't stress enough. Communicate with your realtor saying, hey, listen, I have a grant. The grant is of $10,000. And in order for me to accept the money, I need to fulfill A, B, C, and D of the steps that the bank is requiring me to fulfill. Where we'll then identify a home or a plan to help you, get the grant, use it for your down payment of the home. Any more questions we got going on? So let's recap our steps. If there aren't any other questions here, step 1, save. Whatever sacrifices you have to do to save for the down payment and closing costs, start today. Step 2,
get pre-approved. Make sure that you do your homework and you meet with someone that's going to give you the best rate. And when you're ready to purchase, make sure that you're comfortable with the amount so that, because affordability is very important. So make sure that you purchase a home within your monthly budget.
Step 3, hire the realtor that you can trust. That's our favorite. We'll definitely be able to help you with that. Step 4, decide. Step 5, research the neighborhood and the home to find out your must-haves and the things that you may live without, that you can't live without.